Next comic, very funny person. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Kimmie, Gilbert!
Speaking of job interviews, I love how you go in and they're like, oh, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Yeah, like your weaknesses, what are you gonna say? Are you gonna be like, I often, I get high at work and, I don't really like going in general. So you have to say this, backhanded compliment about yourself. You have to be like, my weaknesses are that I care too much. I work too hard and, I'm just obsessed with my job, and doing it right. Jobs, I actually just got a job. I have a government job. Yeah, that's fun right now, right? But it's all good. I actually get paid to be mentally ill. You see, I get a government-assisted money each month, and I have to submit some doctor's notes to, they want to make sure that I'm still staying crazy. And I think at this point I'm up for a promotion. Yeah, so I literally have a job where I get paid to have depression. Because I know comedy is not working out for that. I always go up here and I'm like, whoops, wrong coping mechanism. Also, good news, guys. Hooters just added me on Instagram. So basically, my tits are becoming more popular than my comedy these days. I've never been jealous of my own boobs before. I guess it's just all about getting one boob in the door, right? Ew. If boobs were the size of your problems, that kind of explains why mine are huge. Yeah. Personal problems. None of us have those, right? That's why we're not laughing. Can't relate. Yes, you're supposed to bond with the audience. I'm not very good at that. I've been trying. But I actually, I used to identify as a lesbian, but I don't anymore. So now I consider myself a has-been. You meet a girl in rehab and she turns out to be crazy. Who would have thought? Boy, was I blindsided by that one. But it's all good. My boyfriend actually has pretty long hair, so it's been a smooth transition for me. And he's one of those people that's annoyingly optimistic. We all have one of those where you're just like, come on, life isn't good. Join the bandwagon. What's wrong with you? But he's one of those people, let's say if he got stabbed, he'd be like, oh guys, I've always wanted to experience that. This has been great. It's always been on my bucket list to experience that kind of physical pain. I don't see anything wrong with that. I might. Or let's take a real life example, shall we? His car recently got repoed, and he writes on Facebook, oh, well, at least I don't have to pay gas anymore, or, insurance. And I'm like, you also don't have a home. So the cons might be outweighing the pros in the situation. So you can't really live without one of those, right? Let's see. When I did identify as a lesbian, I had to go to the gynecologist. And, men, you know what I'm talking about, gynecologist. We all have our checkup, right, guys? No pap smear, guys? No mammogram? But yeah, I had to, they always ask that super fun question that's like, so, are you sexually active? And for the first time in a long time, I was able to say yes. It was a very proud moment for me, and my doctor was just so happy. She was like, I didn't think it was gonna happen, but good for you, And there's always the follow-up question, what kind of birth control do you use? And then most women sweat. They're like, oh shit, what do I say? I can't sound bad. But I was like, you know what? For birth control, I use gay. It's a much more fun way to do abstinence, right? The parts, they don't go together, right? And giving you an anatomy lesson. Make sure you actually know how to get pregnant. Some people these days, sex ed is so bad that they think babies are just falling out of their butts or something. There are ways, I don't know if you guys have ever been on Yahoo Answers. At least when I was 12, I used to do that to ask questions that I was too afraid to ask my parents. But there's so many 11 and 12-year-olds that have questions that are I wiped myself with toilet paper and I'm not sure if there was sperm on it from 10 years ago. Am I gonna get pregnant? And then there's always this one asshole that's yes. Sorry, that was me. I actually I didn't go to school for 3 years. I went to a treatment center for a little bit, so I always tell people I majored in feelings. Minored in crazy, but they don't seem to like that one as much. I guess it's not as witty. It's all about, I can relate to that external validation. I kind of crave it, so please laugh or I'll lose my shit. So, no pressure, guys. I also have an intense fear of abandonment, so if you guys need to use the bathroom in the middle of my set, you should hold it because I'll lose my shit if somebody leaves. So, if you have to go on your seat, I know that you love me because you didn't want to miss it. Thanks, guys. But yeah, I decided to go back to school after 3 years, and I actually go to Santa Monica College, and I get on campus, and I'm walking by the track and field, and there's always that sign that's no smoking, no rollerblading, no skateboarding. And I see below it, it says no confetti or rice. I'm sitting there, I'm like, shit, my day's ruined. Oh my God, Just imagine you're eating sushi or something and someone comes up to you, they're like, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to eat that rice in the special rice designated area. I'm sorry. But I can handle taking away my confetti. But when you take away my rice, that's when it gets serious. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. You didn't have that when you went to school? The no rice rule? It must be just what the kids are doing these days and they gotta put a halt to it. So, I get it, they care about our safety. Everyone's just throwing rice everywhere these days. Those damn kids, those rice eaters. But, have you ever, the other day my teacher puts my tests on my desk and she's like, let this be a learning experience. So it's gonna be a 62 or below, right? No one ever uses that in a positive sense. So no one's like, oh dude, I just won the lottery. And someone's like, well, it's a learning experience, I suppose. What did you learn? That eventually if you spend your life savings, it'll equal something? You just get paid back when you win the lottery for everything you've spent on those tickets. Or, when people are they'll describe someone, they're like, oh, that person is just such a character. I don't know why. Every time I do an impression of a woman, they always just sound my like Jewish grandparents. I don't know why that is, but yeah, they'll be like, oh, you know, that person is such a character. And it's like, what does that even mean, a character? Like, the only character I ever play is myself, and I keep getting told to pick a different one. At least that's what they said in improv before I flunked out. You know, $450 in the hole when, you know, I could have just watched an improv show and realized that I think it's cheesy as shit. So I could have just watched one for $5 instead of gone through that whole thing. But I remember when I was in, I went to UCB and I'm in like Improv 101 or whatever, and I couldn't think, whenever there's a beginning course, you just add 101 and you're just like, okay. Yeah. But I remember being in there and it's like, dude, we're in a beginner's class and there's all these actors with their like portfolios out, and I'm you know, and then there's always this one kid that comes in and he's like, I'm so sorry I was late, guys. Like, I was pitching my spec script to ABC, and I was writing my novel on the side, and, you know, I got 3 callbacks, but, you know, I think I nailed it. But, so what did I miss? It's like, you missed the part where we gave a fuck about any of that. You know, I was the voice of the people. We were all thinking it, right? At least that's what I told myself when I got in trouble. I was like, come on, it's the voice of the people. And she was just like, you know what improv is all about character work, and I'm just really concerned that that's your personality. I was like, I'm not concerned. I'm loving every minute of it. Like, I get paid to be mentally ill. Come on, don't you know that? But I was a super weird kid growing up too. You know, obviously because I'm doing comedy and none of us are normal at all. So it's kind of the profession of the weirdos. And I remember I threw this like American Idol themed birthday party where so funny, one of my friends who was there is like right there and she's like, yeah, I remember that was so weird. How are we still friends? Yeah, this American Idol themed birthday party, I made my guest audition to get in.
Oh god.
And I was the only one that made the cut. Obviously. Was it a lonely birthday party? Sure. But I couldn't deny my performance, right? Was I the judge? Maybe. But a good performance is a good performance. Speaking of me having a poor character, my therapist decided to have me go to a Marijuana Anonymous meeting. Yeah, apparently there are people that don't like their marijuana usage. I didn't know, let's be real, and I figured either everyone would show up or no one would show up. You know, it depends on whether they smoked indica or sativa. But I just felt so uncomfortable in that meeting that I just went outside and smoked a joint. You know, obviously that worked. Yeah. But catch my memoir coming out, guys. It's called Girl Interrupted But Keeps Talking Anyway. Thanks, guys.